The story flashes back to when Offred, then known as June, tried to escape to Canada with her husband and daughter. Unfortunately, they were caught and separated. In the present, Offred lives in the home of Commander Waterford, where she explains the restrictions and controls in her room, designed to prevent escape and rebellion. We also get to know some other important characters in Offred's life. There's Serena Joy, the commander's wife, but she's just as cold and unkind as Offred. Then there's Rita, a Martha, who is a domestic worker responsible for cooking and cleaning. The different roles of women in Gilead are reflected in the colors of their clothing. Martha wears green, wives wear blue, and handmaids like Offred wear red dresses with matching cloaks and white bonnets that hide their faces outside their homes. Despite their harsh situations, these women are considered fortunate compared to the unwomen who are sent to the colonies to clean up toxic waste until they die. Additionally, we meet Nick, the commander's driver, who lives above the detached garage on the property. Offred is assigned to do the day's shopping, and Rita gives her vouchers with pictures because women are not allowed to read anymore. She goes out with another handmaid, Ofglen. Handmaids always have to travel in pairs, not for protection but so they can watch each other. At first, Offred thinks Ofglen is a bit too devout, and their conversation is limited to harmless topics like the weather and updates on a war against rebels. After their grocery store visit, they walk past a wall where people are hanged for what is now considered treason. The hanged individuals wear bags on their heads depicting their crimes, such as a priest, a doctor, and a gay man. Offred sarcastically reflects on how she once heard a similar joke, but this reality is no punchline. We also get a flashback that takes us to the Rachel and Leah Center, a former high school where women are trained for their roles as handmaids. The aunts, older women dressed in brown, act as teachers and tell stories about how the old society was messed up, showing slides of pollution, radiation, and charts with declining birth rates. They label women from that time as dirty, but as handmaids, they are considered special with a biblical purpose. During the lesson, June Offred sees someone she knows, Moira. Moira signals to June not to acknowledge their past friendship. When a fellow student, Janine, talks back, Aunt Lydia shocks her with a cattle prod and has her taken away. Aunt Lydia then delivers a chilling line from Atwood's novel. "I know this must feel very strange, but ordinary is just what you're used to. This may not seem ordinary to you right now, but after a while it will. This will become ordinary." This quote is unsettling because, even though it's about a fictional totalitarian regime, it resonates with real-life situations where unsettling news becomes normalized over time. It makes you feel uneasy because, initially, something might seem wrong, but if it happens enough, it becomes a part of everyday life. At night in the Rachel and Leah Center, June and Moira are awake whispering when Janine is brought back crying. It's revealed that disobedience leads to severe consequences, as Janine now has one eye missing. Moira comments, "We're breeding stock. You don't need eyes for that." In another disturbing lesson, Janine tells her fellow handmaids about being gang-clapped. Aunt Lydia asks the group who's at fault, and the women point fingers at Janine, blaming her for what happened. When June hesitates, she's slapped by another aunt. Under the aunt's stern gaze, June reluctantly joins in the group shaming, reinforcing the blame on Janine. In the present, Offred participates in the ceremony, where the commander attempts to impregnate her while she lies in Serena Joy's lap. The experience is joyless and difficult for all involved. After the ceremony, Offred, feeling desperate for air, rushes into the backyard, only to realize that Nick can see her. The next morning, she's preoccupied with why Nick hasn't reported her outside when bells ring, signaling salvation, a chilling ritual in Gilead. A man is brought forward, accused of clapping a pregnant handmaid, causing her to lose the baby. The handmaids gather, and when a whistle blows, they're given the opportunity to unleash their rage on the man. Offred lands the first blow, and chaos ensues as the women scream, grab, pull, and kick. Janine, now pregnant, watches happily from a distance. It's a disturbing display of the pent-up anger within the captive handmaids. After the salvaging ordeal, Offred and Ofglen walk home together, finally getting to know each other. They discuss Moira, whom Janine claimed was sent to the colonies, reminiscing about an old ice cream shop, and sharing moments of doubt about each other's true beliefs. They talk about their families, Offred's husband and daughter, and Ofglen's wife and son, who managed to escape to Canada. In front of the commander's home, they express gratitude for the opportunity to meet each other. However, the warmth is short-lived. As Offred goes to close the gate, Ofglen leans in and whispers that there's an eye in her house. With a warning to be careful, Ofglen walks away, leaving Offred to enter a home where anyone could be watching her. Despite the constant surveillance, Offred is determined to persist. She reflects on the ever-present eyes, the need for everything to look the same, and her intention to survive. For her daughter, she declares the names of her family, Hannah, Luke, and June, as a totem and a battle cry, affirming her identity in the face of oppression. In a world where births are rare and healthy ones even rarer, the arrival of a new baby should be a joyous occasion. However, in Gilead, nothing is as simple as it seems. The episode takes us to another ceremony night, where Offred, Serena Joy, and the commander participate in the joyless and awkward ritual. Offred expresses her impatience. Serena Joy remains joyless as usual, and the atmosphere is far from celebratory. The next day, Offred greets Ofglin in a less formal manner, and they exchange information during their shopping trip. As they walk home past the wall displaying bodies of traitors, they share more about their past lives. Offred, originally from Brookline, Massachusetts, was a book editor, while Ofglin, originally from Montana, came to New England for school and worked at a university. Offred is surprised that academics were spared from the colonies, but Ofglin explains that her functioning ovaries saved her from that fate. It's a grim reminder of the twisted priorities and brutal reality of Gilead. They pass a church that's being demolished, and Offred recognizes it as her dad's parish, the place where her daughter was baptized. They took down St. Patrick's in New York City, Ofglin remarks, blew it up and dumped every stone in the Hudson River. They're destroying artifacts from the civilization that came before. How does Ofglin know about the eye in Offred's house, or about the man being taken away? Before Offred can inquire further, a black van speeds down the street, and two men in black grab a man with a briefcase, throwing him into the van. It's clear that this kind of disappearance is a common occurrence in Gilead. It's okay to be relieved it wasn't you, Ofglin tells Offred, trying to offer some comfort. However, Offred remains unsettled, emphasizing that it was still someone. Ofglin then discloses her involvement in resistance against the government. Offred hesitates, claiming she's not that kind of person. Ofglin replies, "No one is until they have to be." As rain starts to fall, Offred contemplates the state of the world, acknowledging the ongoing fighting in Chicago, Anchorage as the remaining U.S. capital, and the flag with only 2 stars. The idea of being part of an us, a secret resistance against the oppressive regime, holds her in place. She recognizes the need for unity, because now there's a distinct them. The rain serves as a symbolic backdrop for the internal struggle and decision she faces. Back in the house, Nick delivers an unusual message to Offred. The commander wants to see her in his office tonight, alone. This deviates from the usual protocol, as handmaids are expected to function solely as two-legged wombs. Offred questions if this is an invitation, or her own demise, but it becomes clear it's an order. Before leaving, Nick adds another layer of intrigue by warning her not to trust Ofglin. As Offred contemplates the mysterious message, a red van, known as the Birthmobile, arrives outside with blaring sirens. It's there to collect Offred and other local handmaids to witness another handmaid, Ovwarn, giving birth. Offred wonders not about the baby's gender but about the chances of a healthy birth. Now only 1 in 5, if pregnancy occurs at all. As they enter Ovwarn's home, soft music plays, and Martha sets up a spread of food, including a macaron tower. The wives, dressed in blue, guide the commander's wife through a serious but faux labor, coaching her to breathe. Serena Joy is among them, holding her hand. Upstairs, real labor is happening, with numerous handmaids and aunts chanting and surrounding the actual mother-to-be in a room, creating an eerie atmosphere. Touching Janine's belly makes Offred think of her baby Hannah, with her tiny feet and sweet baby smell. In a flashback, Offred wakes up in the hospital, and her baby is missing. An alarm sounds, and they discover a friendly nurse who helped earlier is dead. Another woman claims Hannah is her baby, but Luke and the police intervene, getting Hannah back. The woman is arrested. Back at the birth, Offred shares the commander's request with Ofglin. Serena Joy brings her to the dining room with the wives, treating Offred like a child and offering her a cookie. Offred is dismissed and spits out the bite in the bathroom sink. During Ovwarn's labor, Aunt Lydia orchestrates the performance, with the mistress pretending to give birth. Janine successfully delivers a baby girl. The wife gets all the attention, and Janine is left emotional and consoled by the other handmaids. She becomes a glorified wet nurse, caring for the baby that is hers but not hers. On the silent ride back in the birthmobile, Ofglin informs Offred that no one knows what Commander Waterford wants from her. She warns Offred not to trust Nick, mentioning that Nick said the same about her. Ofglin admits that trusting anyone is dangerous, especially a carpet-munching gender traitor. At night, Offred heads to the commander's forbidden room thinking, I guess there may be something he wants from me. To want is to have a weakness. That gives me hope. She compares it to horror movies where a woman descends into a basement to meet a grisly end. However, when she enters, it's a standard office with books, a globe, and a wooden desk. The commander proposes playing Scrabble, a risky move in Gilead where women aren't supposed to read. After a close game, they plan a rematch when he returns from a trip to Washington. The next day, buoyed by the night's outcome and eager to share intel with Ovglin, Offred steps out with a spring in her step. Passing Nick, she wonders if he knows about her night with the commander and if he cares. However, at the gate, another woman is waiting. Offred learns that she is the new Ovglin, and her attempt to ask about the previous Ovglin is met with a stony response. The revelation leaves Offred and the audience thinking, as it signals potential trouble ahead.